I want to point out something because I found myself worrying about it after I shared my last video about my EDS complications. And so I wrote there, EDS is a connective tissue disorder and it is systemic. So it affects many different things because people often don't understand when someone has a systemic disorder. uh, they don't have many things. They have a lot of problems that are related to one, major issue. They're all related. And this is not hypochondria, folks. This is called a systemic condition, and it sucks and it's hard. And so it's even harder when people judge, someone trying to share. And I think a lot of people hold back with sharing because, first of all, some of the complications that we have are personal. And so that's really hard to share about. Um, and the other thing is not wanting to sound like, intense. And so we hold back about sharing about all of it at once, most especially. And it does sound pretty intense. And I didn't even, you know, bring in everything. There's a few things that I left out. Like, for one, my ears constantly ring because of my neck. And that's just, anyway, I left that out before, but it's extremely annoying. I like to play music at night to block it out. But anyway, back to my point. Systemic conditions like affect different areas of the body. Like they might affect the spine, and then the gut, and then the muscles, and you know that's what autoimmune conditions are like. In general, they're autoimmune, and autoimmunity can attack anything. Lupus, for example, attacks many different organs. So it's not a person having a whole bunch of problems, it's a person that has one problem. So ignorant people who don't experience these things and don't watch people suffer, at close range, will say things like, "Oh, you sound crazy, you sound hypo like a hypochondriac," or just in general become overwhelmed and phobic hearing somebody sharing, about all of that. And I guess they don't have to listen, right? But, you know, I did it for awareness and education, and it's good when people are able to, face their fear of health and, health problems and sickness, and become educated, because a lot of people are kind of phobic of that when they're not dealing with it and they really don't understand it. So, they think systemic illness is, they ignorantly call people hypochondriacs. But please keep in mind that it is really, really cruel to, you know, call someone that who is suffering with a systemic condition. And also, the other thing is that people with systemic conditions might have mental health issues as well, because systemic conditions are overwhelming. And so you might have depression and anxiety and disassociation or whatever, OCD, trying to manage it. There will be mental health issues for a lot of people that, come up, that are developed, because it's hard to have a systemic condition. It's hard to have any, health ailment, but a systemic condition is really, overwhelming. And when people first start getting sick with systemic conditions, they have a really hard time adjusting because they were well before, and now, their bodies are like falling apart, and they're scared and they're upset. And a lot of doctors don't have compassion for that, and people don't have compassion for that, and it's too bad because it traumatizes further, right? So, bottom line, is not, you know, systemic is not hypochondria. That's the bottom line. They're very, very different things. And, you know, the only the only similarity here is that sometimes when people have systemic conditions and they're having chronic pain everywhere, they might feel it everywhere and they don't know what's wrong, or what is going on, and might try and guess, this is going on. Is this going on? That's troubleshooting. That's not hypochondria. They might realize that they could be wrong. Hypochondria is when you completely believe that this is happening, right? Not, is this happening to me or is it not? So they're different things. So the dynamics are different. And yeah, please, if you don't understand people who are chronically ill with systemic conditions, think twice before you judge.